This is task 2 about brands. So the first question is about 3 of my favourite brands, and what I like about them. Converse. Converse is a good brand. I like them because they're shoes and I like trainers. I think they look good all the time, and I think they're going to constantly be in fashion. I can't imagine Converse going out of fashion because they've been around for ages. I like the way they look, like kind of retro and funky. And what I also like about them is the fact that it's good for all ages. Like, I think old people, young people, they can all wear them and it looks good anyway. So I think that's a good brand because it reaches out to different age groups. Another brand I like, Urban Outfitters. Another thing about fashion. I just think it's a good brand for teenagers in particular because it's quite individual. The clothes that they sell are quite individual, and teenagers like to stand out and things like that. So it's a good brand for that. It's also very fashionable, like the clothes that they sell. And although the clothes are quite expensive, I think it's good quality and definitely worth the money. I like Urban Outfitters as a brand, definitely. I don't know if it's really for the older people, but definitely for young people, it's a really great brand. And yeah, the clothes are really nice. So yeah, I definitely like Urban Outfitters. Another brand that I like is Apple. So that's like a technology kind of brand, you know, with like iPods, iPhones, iPads and Apple Macs. Like, they're really big when it comes to technology. And obviously as a young person, I like technology. I've got an iPod 4, which is similar to an iPhone but hasn't really got the phone side to it. It's got a camera, and it's basically just an iPod but with a camera, which is really great. And I like using it. Obviously, I think with Apple it's just good with being able to social network easily with the computers and the iPads and iPhones and iPods. And definitely, most young people have an iPod or something to do with Apple. I think Apple's a really great brand. I think they're really great at what they're doing with the whole iPad. People really get excited when a new thing is coming out. So that's definitely a good brand that's doing well in business. What's important for you in terms of what brands should be doing, e.g. corporate social responsibility, providing opportunities for young people? I think brands should definitely be aware of the image that they're portraying, because young people are quite easily persuaded and easily swayed, easily pressured. So I think it's important that a brand is portraying something good, a good image that young people feel encouraged and inspired by rather than pressured into. I think definitely brands should try and provide more opportunities for young people. Definitely get young people involved with that kind of thing, because I think young people can always bring new, fresh ideas. And they can learn about the working world and things like that. And I think definitely providing opportunities for young people so that we get involved. We're encouraged to stay active and do more things. And obviously a brand needs to be portraying their product well, so advertising it well and things like that. Any brands that are good at speaking to young people and why? The main one that I can think of is Twitter, if that's the kind of brand, social network brand. Because not necessarily speaking to young people, but I think it gets young people involved with a lot of things. Things like trending topics are usually things that are going on in the world, or news stories, or just things to think about. And I think it's great that young people can get involved with things like that and have their say, voice their opinions, and also get some more information. I think it's good that it gets young people involved. Young people can also engage with celebrities and other people in maybe politics. I know there are people who in politics who have Twitter and things like that, so they can ask questions, they can get involved, they can have questions answered, they can get more information about things. And I think Twitter is a good brand that gets young people involved. Facebook is quite good as well, but Twitter seems to be more people use Twitter a lot more. those are the main brands that I think about, like, it's not really speaking to young people, but young people getting involved kind of thing. Yeah, that's like the main one. Brands that are getting it wrong. I can't really think of any brands that are getting it wrong, because I mean, most brands are really like selling their products and things like that. But if I was to say a brand I don't really like kind of what they portray, it would have to be Hollister, because I think their clothes aren't anything particularly special, just to me anyway. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't think their clothes are anything special. It's just t-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing. But I don't like how, because with Hollister's kind of associated with this whole thing about like with the models working there, and how, you know, only models that work there, so it's kind of associated with good looking people. So as a brand, they're portraying this idea that maybe only good looking people shop there. I know that's a bit exaggerated, but to me eventually it can kind of come across as that, because we know that the models that are in the main bit, and then you get other people working in the back, and main people, they're going to see the models. And I think for teenagers it's kind of a lot of pressure. They might feel like, you know, I can't really shop there, you know, because like only models work there kind of thing. I don't know, I just don't think it gives a good image, especially for like young people who want to apply for jobs. I mean, they might avoid applying for Hollister just because, you know, they might not feel pretty enough, or that because they're not a model, they don't think they're going to be able to work there. And that's like hindering the process of, you know, young people wanting to be active, get a job, make their own money, be independent. Yeah, I think it can put a lot of pressure as well, you know. Like, teenage girls in particular easily kind of fall into this whole pressure thing. If they're seeing models working in a shop every time they walk in, it's kind of like, it can put a lot of pressure on someone, and they might feel more insecure, especially with boys as well. Like, you know, you've got the good looking model boys who work there, they might feel insecure as well. So I think with Hollister, it just seems like it's restricted to one type of young person, or one type of people who can afford that kind of thing in the first place, because it seems to be kind of overpriced. And then people who are possibly like just good looking, or, you know, really confident. And then people who don't feel that secure but might like the brand, they might feel restricted by it just because of the image they're portraying. Doesn't seem to reach out to all types of people, to me anyway. So they need to kind of broaden that. Recent campaigns that have caught my eye and what made me notice them. Coney 2012, that's a campaign, that's a big campaign that's happening, like, that's caught my eye. That was big on Twitter, Facebook, BBM, like, broadcasts, like, everyone was talking about it. I think it's good that young people are knowing about these things, and like I said before, Twitter gets people involved. Like, I'm sure I wouldn't have known if I hadn't seen it on Twitter, or if I hadn't got a broadcast on BBM. So I think it's good that young people are knowing about these things, are able to know about these things, get involved with their opinions and how they feel about it. Another campaign that I can think of is something called Some People Are Gay, Get Over It, from Stonewall charity, I think. Seen it on trains, adverts, things like that. I think that's really great, because it's like a really good anti-bullying campaign, and I think the way it's called Some People Are Gay, Get Over It, I think that's really aimed towards teenagers, because get over it is kind of a colloquial phrase that most teenagers use. And yeah, I think it's a really good campaign, a really good anti-bullying campaign. I think it needs to be what's the word? People need to know about it more, like more publicity, because I think it's a really, really great campaign. Like, you know, loads of teenagers feel weird about like their sexuality, they're not sure, or they feel that they're going to be bullied, so they're scared to like come out with it, or just scared to like identify with themselves if they do happen to be homosexual. And I think it's good, because it kind of makes somebody being gay a kind of thing where it should just be like a casual, like no one should make a big deal out of it. And I think that's true. I think everyone should be able to be comfortable with who they are and not worry about it. They should be able to, you know, walk into school and not have not worry about people talking to them, so making fun of them or anything like that. And I think, yeah, that is a really great campaign. So yeah, that's my thing on brands.